Welcome. It's Domain Day from CheapWineFinder.com again. And today we're going to actually find cheap wine. Which we kind of do, but this one is a very particular wine and very particular reasons for it to be cheap. And let me grab the bottle so we can talk about the whole story. This is the Franciscan Estates Monterey County Cabernet Sauvignon 2018. I'll go into a little bit of detail. Franciscan Estates is founded in Napa in the 70s and had its ups and downs, and one of the leaders of Napa wine in the last half century kind of took it over and made the winery a well-known winery, and they were doing well, and then they got sold off to Constellation brands, and they became more of a brand at that point. They still had a facility, and they still had vineyards for a while anyway, and it did very well. I mean, even though it was a brand wine, this Franciscan Monterey County lists for $22. And on the internet, you can find it for $19.99 to like $23.99 at almost any internet seller. And why I'm telling you about it, because I have a link where you can get it for $9.99. Now, this isn't a paid or sponsored wine. I just know about these things because we're the Cheap Wine Finder. But I'll explain it. Constellation Brands, one of the leading spirits, wine, beer companies in the United States. And they decided to change their focus a little bit and start going on the middle to upper end of the spectrum. And they had this deal to sell off their more value-priced wines to E&J Gallo, the largest winery in the United States, the largest family-owned winery in the world. And they specialize in a lot of ways in value-priced wines. And even though the Franciscan isn't necessarily value price, since this is one of the least expensive wines, I think they have some white wines a little less expensive. Their wines start at $20. That's not exactly cheap. That was part of the sale, and the sale started in 2020, and it didn't get completed until the first part of 2021. So these Franciscan wines, this 2018, is kind of an orphan. Gallo's not going to have their wines since they didn't get ownership until February. The 2021 vintage will be the first one they're involved with. Constellation, they don't own this brand anymore. There's a bunch of wines. Binny's in Chicago is huge. There's 40 stores, I don't remember, and they all are in buildings that look like Targets. I mean, at least some of them are. They're huge. And they have a bunch of different wines. We did a Pinot Noir, a Mark West Pinot Noir. That was $3.99. Normally sells for $8. I think Estancia has wines, and they usually sell for $12, and Binny's has them for $6. So I would take a sip of this wine. This is not so much about the wine. It's really good. It's legitimately good at the price. At $22, it's a good wine. At $9.99, oh man. So Benny somehow got a deal. Whoever distributor is in Chicago area at least, for Constellation Brands, probably isn't the distributor for E&J Gallo. So the distributor is getting rid of it. I mean, they have a contract with people who don't own it anymore, and they don't have a contract with the people who do own it. So, it's being sold off at half price, and that's a very good thing. And I put links on the CheapWineFinder.com website, a couple of links, where you can get this wine, and they have by-the-case prices. They have a lot of this wine to sell. The weird part about it is this is the 2018 vintage, and the 2019 vintage is out. That's the same price. It's high price. I mean, it's going for $18, $19, $20, so I don't understand it exactly. Maybe Gallo's taking responsibility for the 1920 vintage and not the 18. I don't know. That's beside the point because it's $9.99. And that's why we're talking about being a cheap wine finder. Every January, February, most wine shops make almost a good portion of money in November and December. I mean, they sell lots of wine and spirits at that time. And when they make their orders for the next year, because they kind of cleared out most of their inventory, they look at what's left over and what they're going to order and what they're not going to order, and they have closeout bins. So if you have a really good shop, trying to figure out, ask somebody, hey, when's your closeouts? We're coming up with, because it's only August and we got 6 months to go. But you'll be surprised at the bargains you can get on wines that never, ever go on sale. So keep that in mind. Everybody's got news feeds on their computer or on their phone. Get industry links if you can. If you read about someone who's going out of business, keep an eye out. You might get those wines on sale at a closeout. If you find out that somebody is changing winemakers, it could be that the winemaker is there for 40 years and he's retiring or she's retiring and the apprentice is taking over, or it could be that the wine sales have been dropping for a few years and they're making a big change and they really want to get rid of this old stuff because they want the new stuff to be out there because the old stuff wasn't selling. But that doesn't mean that a $35 wine that wasn't selling, when it sells for $13, it's probably it's probably a decent wine, just didn't hold up to the competition. At $13, it's like crazy good. So start looking for those kind of situations where you can find things, find closeouts, find who's selling, who's not selling. All those things are clues, and just, you don't have to study it, you don't have to go too far into it, but it is kind of keep an eye out and you can find these things. Franciscan used to have a winery. It's just a label now. The tasting room for Franciscan wines is now Prisoner Wines. Constellation kept that. What happens to Franciscan when E&J Gallo takes over, I don't know, because their facilities are gone, their vineyards are gone. Gallo probably has their own plants for it. So this isn't a wine that you're probably going to have a long-term relationship with, but it's good now and it's inexpensive now. And it's a bargain, and that's what cheap wine finders do. So like us where you like podcasts, if you will, because we always got stuff talking about. Check out the website for the links to get it for half price. And if you check out their webpage, you'll find a bunch of other wines that are also from the Constellation brands, E&J Gallo sale, that are also on sale. And if you're looking for bargains, at that price, even with shipping, it's still a bargain. So keep it cheap, be safe, be cool, and I'll be talking to everybody later. Adios. Bye-bye.